So Hare Krishna devotees. So can someone tell me what chapter we are going to do today?
Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness.
And how is it different from the third chapter? What is the name of the third chapter? I know it's a little twist, but thank you so much for answering. I'm really proud of you.
The name of the third chapter was Karma Yoga.
Okay, so can you see the difference now? So this is sounding very similar. That's also Karma Yoga. This is also Karma Yoga. But here we are going to talk about Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness. Right? So, so let me take you through the various things. So we will jump into it. Before we get into it, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Svapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Come on, all of you.
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So we are going to have a quick recap. So we saw this chapter 3, which spoke about Karma Yoga in Krishna Karma Yoga, right? And this chapter is an extension of that, which is action in Krishna consciousness. So what do we do? So let's understand what renunciation is and all that. So as usual, I'm going to chant and one of you all can read. And I would like someone who's not read to start, right? Arjuna Vacha Sanyasa Karmaye Kanya Punaryoga Cha Sashi Yakshreya Etayor Eka Tanme Bruhi Sunichitam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
Arjuna said, "O Kanaya, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
So now we are having two things. One is renouncing work, right? Or work in devotion. So now we saw the third chapter where he had to run away. Now finally he's asking, okay, I understand you have shown two paths. Now the first path which you're telling is, two paths. One of that is to renunciate the work. Okay, the other one more option. I'm not talking about ranking. I'm just giving random. The other one is renunciate the results of the work. Which one is great? So, for example, we already saw, right? So renunciating work means Arjuna will not fight. He'll run away. Now, renunciating the result. So now he is concerned about compassion, sin, family tradition, enjoyment. All this is around him, right? Even if he is telling sin, it's around him. So these kind of things, he's asking, what should I do? So, so let's understand why this has come and what is the need and the reason for all this confusion. So now devotional service is better than direct speculation. And what does it mean? We already saw in the third chapter that someone who is just trying to do the whole drama, right, of falling in love with Krishna and running to the forest is genuine. But there are some dramatic people like us where we want to run away from the present problems. So we will run and that time what will happen? We'll still be thinking, Hare, what will I do? What will my friends be doing? What will happen to my mobile and all that, right? So that is called Mrityahara. So which means that he's just trying to pretend. So not worth to be a Mrityachara. So it's best to be a genuine. If you can't do, then live there and be there, right? So the second chapter says knowledge of the soul, Krishna has explained. And he says, what are the prescribed duties? He explains that clearly over there in the second chapter itself. And he also says that the soul is stuck because of the fruit of activity. So this led to the fact that Arjuna thought, okay, Krishna is telling the best thing is to use buddhi, which actually is talking about devotional service, bhakti. But Arjuna thinks, okay, fruitive activity means war is fruitive. Therefore, I will not work and I will run away. So the third chapter, he says that there is no duty at all. For any person who has knowledge, there is no duty. So he's now again confused. So, so with all this, he now jumps back, telling that whatever you do, sacrifice, we saw yagnas and various yugas, various yagnas which were done. What is the yagna we do in the Kali Yuga? What is the yagna we do in Kali Yuga? Can someone tell me? You can unmute and tell. While you think about that, I'll continue. So he says all kind of yagnas or the sacrifices basically culminates into knowledge, right? So knowledge is the end of that. So, and again in fourth chapter, he's confusing by telling get up and fight. So he's thinking, okay, according to me, knowledge means I will not fight and I will go into sannyasi. But again, Krishna is telling get up and fight. Oh my God, Krishna is so contradictory. This is confusing him again. So he's telling, okay, now clarify my doubt. What should I do? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sanyase Karma Yogachya Vichreya Chakarav Ubhau Tayostu Karma Sanyasa Karma Yogo Vichintyate. Vichinte means better. Right? Hare Krishna. Please go ahead and read. Yes, please go ahead and read.
The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly he says that the personality of Godhead replied, telling that renunciation of work and working in devotion both are good. Right? For liberation, both are good. But of the two, he says that devotional service is anytime better than renunciation of work. So which means focus on devotional service, which I said, right? Better means vichin yate, which means that is better. So he's telling both are right, because if you're genuine renunciation, I'm not talking about dramatic people like me who will go and think of family, but someone who is genuinely renunciating also is looking for reaching Krishna. But he says both are good, but this is better because that is doable. So since that is doable, I would suggest this to be a better off situation. So this one is a story of King Nirga. And what is the speciality of Nirga is a very big king, right? So wait, I will tell the story with the recording. Hare Krishna. So I will today talk about the story of King Nirga. So what is the speciality of King Nirga is he was a great king who did a lot of charity, right? And he used to time his charity. How? See, when you give charity, you get credits, right? But when you do on a specific day like Ekadasi or some Janmashtami, the credits multiply. Especially on Ekadasi and all, when you do charity, it becomes manifold, right? So he picks those specific days and he will do charity. So his credits were so much and so high. And he was very excited and, he would never stop charity. He would go on and on. So he used to give to Brahmanas all these cows. And the speciality of this particular charity is it's not that he will just give the cow and leave. These cows will be very well decked, it'll have gold, silver ornaments and all that. And he used to give. So that way, and his number of cows he used to donate is huge. So there was 1 lakh cow charity which he was doing. And what happened one day is with the one cow which he had given in charity, that particular cow actually was already given to a Brahmana and it ran back and joined the queue of the donation list of cows. So what happened is, without his knowledge, unknowingly, he redonated this cow. Okay. And what happens is now another second Brahmana, you can see, is the owner because he got it now. But the original Brahmana is the owner. So basically he's donated something which doesn't belong to him. And these both Brahmanas are picking a quarrel. Now he says, you don't worry, I will compensate. Now I want you all to answer, what will be the thing which you will pick? So he's telling that you return, one of you give me the cow and I will replace this one cow with 10,000 cows with a lot of jewelry. So what would you do? If it was me, I would have immediately grabbed the offer. Yes or no? I don't remember whether it was 100 or 10,000, but even if it was double, I would have picked the answer. What would you do? Would you do the same? Or would you tell you want my cow only, my cow only? What would you say?
Yes, we will agree the offer.
Yeah. So, but the Brahmanas those days are more Vedic, right? So they believe that what belongs to them, they want to retain. And they don't want to get into too much of anything because their concept is different. They are never into earning money, nor do they take money. Their whatever requirement for them is for maintenance of their basic needs, right? So for them, that cow, whatever is given to them is what they want. And both of them get angry and they actually curse him, telling that you are going to be born as a chameleon. And he gets cursed and he is there in the well for hundreds and thousands of years. But what happens is some time back, there is this Brahmana who would have come and taken some money from him for the construction of the temple. So this particular Brahmana gets very excited and he says, okay, the construction of the temple, money has been taken. And therefore, because of that construction of the temple, that little credit he did, what happened, we will see. So this particular, whatever deed he did, made, Krishna's children, they were all playing over there. And his grandchildren, all of them were playing, and the ball fell inside. And they saw this huge lizard, and they got so scared. And this was such a huge lizard. And they called for Krishna. So obviously, when Krishna took it, Nirga got benedicted, and thus entire curse was a blessing in disguise. Now, the moral of the story is, should you do charity? Yes, you should. But the difference is, here in Nirga's case, whatever charity he did, it was focused on him, right? Everything he was thinking, I need credits. I am the doer. I, should do it on specific days so I get more credits. So this is what is the concept. We were reading 2 days back, right? Vikarma, good deeds, pious deeds, which will take us to heaven. But if the karma, and vikarma is the ones which are not in Shastra, the adharmic deeds, which will take us to hell. Both will actually make us come back again and again. It's not going to come permanently release. So the in between both akarma and karma, we have what's called the vikarma, right? Which is what most of us tend to do these days, right? Because we don't even know whether it's right or not, but we keep doing. See, of course, we may not do a big one like terrorism, but little bit vikarma we keep doing here and there. Nobody can tell, okay, whatever actions I do is all perfect and not a single wrong activity we've done. We do. Only thing is we don't do very, very big vikarmas, all mini, kuti vikarmas we do. So this is what we've been doing. But if you take our ancestors, they used to do only karmic activities. Only good activities used to be there. But irrespective of that, like Nirga, he's telling that don't do both, because that will make you come back to the earth again and again. Somewhere, you'll be running between the 14 planets. When I said 14 planets, I remember I'm going to take you to the 14 planetary systems during chapter 8. So with all this happening, then finally what we should do, akarma. We will not take bad also. We will not take good also. And I was waiting for this chapter because everyone of us were wondering, why not good? Because we saw, I want this, this is so apt, right? Nirga did all good, but one small mistake, owning that, pious activity also can push him down. But if he is surrendering everything to Krishna, even if they had cursed him, it would have had no impact at all, because he's not taking any credit. It's all for Krishna. So that is the, moral of the story. So today onwards, we will not focus on, definitely we will not do vikarma. We will not focus on karma also. We will focus on akarma, which means all good activities completely surrendered on to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Now back to lesson. Right. So this is one thing, and then we'll go to the next sloka. Proper understanding of pronunciation. We need to understand this. So we'll go through this. Prapaichi kataya buddhaya hari sambandhi vastunau mumuk nubi parityago vairagya palgu katyate. Hare Krishna.
When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete.
Hare Krishna. So he says, when person eager to achieve liberation, right? He wants to achieve liberation, renounces things. Whatever he is renouncing, it's related to Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be, that is very, very wrong. For example, we are all doing japa. Okay, I am now getting liberated. I will stop japa. I will stop praying to God. I will stop going to temple. You should never do, because that's what it is explained even in the last module, which is the last 6 chapters, that even charity, all this should never be given up at any point in time. So here he says that if you want to if you want to renounce anything related to Krishna, then, that is incomplete. So what is complete, we will see. So 5.3, Karma Yoga or Karma Sannyasi. Karma Yoga is working Krishna conscious. Sannyasi, Karma Sannyasi is giving up on the entire work. Hare Krishna. Jiyo Sanitya Sanyase Yona Deve Dvenoigna Kainyati Nirdvando Hi Mahabaho Sukhabandhat Pramuchyate. Hare Krishna.
One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna.
Hare Krishna. So he says this kind of a person neither hates nor desires fruits, right? So, for example, a judge, he's not very excited. Oh, I gave him this, extra amount, compensation. Nor is he upset telling that, oh, I got him hung. He is just very neutral to all of this, right? So the fruits of the activities is what we have to renounce, right? So he is not really bothered about the fruits because he's giving away the fruits. Such a person is supposed to be liberated. We saw this in the second chapter. Krishna was explaining about Siddhati Muni. When Arjuna was telling, should I run to the forest? He said, let me explain the quality of a Siddhati Muni, which is also called Uttama Adhikari, is this particular quality. They will permanently renounce. They have absolutely nothing, right? He's always liberated from all these dualities and easily he'll be able to overcome the material bondage and he's completely liberated, right? So that is what he is talking about. So renounce results and not the action. Never you should renounce the action. You will only renounce the results. So this is the story of, does anyone know? But this is little advanced, so you may not know. So I'll tell you. He is called Namacharya and he is Haridas Thakur. So what his speciality is, he was born in a Muslim family and he used to chant daily 3 lakh times the name of Krishna. And this girl is a prostitute and they deliberately wanted to disturb him and they had sent this girl onto him to disturb his puja. So he was supposed to have left the previous day, but he's just there and she comes. And normally when a girl asks for something, a man is not supposed to say no. But he will say that I have not finished my japa, can you come back tomorrow? So she'll go and come next day. And again, he will tell the same thing. I have not finished my japa, can you go and come? She'll come the next day and she will tell, see, you are sending me. What should I do? He'll say, no problem, now it's fine. Can you sit there? I just finished few rounds only pending. I'll finish and then I will stay with you. But while he is chanting, what happens is she gets so involved and the naam is so nice that it purifies, right? So that is why there is a shloka which says Cheto Darpana Marjanam, which means cleansing the heart. So Cheto Darpana means literally Krishna is taking a broomstick and cleaning the heart of each and everyone. That is the level of cleanliness which has happened, that she gets herself converted as a devotee. And she also says that this was not her intent and she was sent by the people over there to disturb. And Haridas Thakur says, I know this is going to happen and you're going to come. And I was here, why? Because I wanted you to be liberated. So I know for sure this is going to happen. So I just definitely want you to be liberated. And that's why I got all this done. Brahmanadaya karmani sangam tyatva karoti yah lipyate na sapapena papa padma patram ivambasha. Hare Krishna.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful action, as a lotus leaf is untouched by water.
Very nice. So what is he telling? Padma Patram means lotus. So he says whoever does the duty without any attachment, he surrenders all the results to the Supreme God, is not affected at all by the sinful action, right? As the lotus feet is staying untouched by water. And he says one who performs this duty without attachment surrenders the result to Supreme Lord. So everything gets surrendered to the Supreme Lord and it is not affected at all by the sinful actions. So that is what he is mentioning here. So very beautiful. So let's go ahead and hear this kirtan. Let me just see if you can hear the sound. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll move on. So this is what he did. He went abroad and he got the whole Sankirtan done. So we're going to move to the 5.18. Hare Krishna. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmanaste Kavi Astini Sumi Chaivas Papa Kecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You can read. We are not able to hear.
The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Outcast.
Hare Krishna. So Pandita Samadarshana means equal vision, right? And so all this, right? Suni Chaiva Swapa Keva. So all this he's talking about is, all of them. So I'll start from the beginning. Brahmana means Brahmin. Gavi means cow. Hastini, Hasti, you all know, elephant. And Suni Chaiva Swapa Keva means dog and a dog eater, right? So he does not differentiate, and everybody are just the same according to him. So what he is trying to tell is anyone who is elevated, which we saw as Uttamadhikari, will treat everybody equally, and there is absolutely no difference at all. Hare Krishna. So, 5.22 Hare Krishna. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga du tayo naya evate adi antavatta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Hare Krishna.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, So the wise man does not delight in them.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So all of you all are reading so well. Thank you so much for that. What is he saying? Is intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery. Right? It's because what is the source of misery? Being in contact. For example, let's talk about this moth. The moth gets attracted to the light, just like how we are attracted to the desires, and the moth runs near the light and gets burnt up. Right? So let's take another example of deer. It is always attracted to lovely music. So the hunter will always play nice music. So it has got weakness of its ears. Right? The first one is eyes, now ears. It and immediately it becomes a prey for the hunter. They have what is it called? Wind scent, right? When they eat. And same way the bee is attracted by smell. It goes to the bird, flower, and it does not stop with just taking one sip of nectar. It goes on and on until such time that the bird closes its petals and the bee dies inside the petal itself. And this is the most funny thing for a bee. This is that sense of taste. And for the fish which is in the ocean, it will have lots, right? It is not short of food. It has lots of fishes in the water, but it sees the fish outside and it gets tempted because of the sense of taste, and it jumps inside and catches and then finally gets caught. Now this is again with sense of attraction towards the opposite gender, where the she elephant is trained to go around the pit, and the he elephant follows the she and falls inside the pit. So this is how they try and do. And similarly, there's no difference. What is the main difference is that all of these animals which I was talking has one particular sense which is very strong. It could be sense of touch, sense of smell, or sense of we saw in the fish case, sense of taste, and sense of the eyes attraction. Obviously, the bodily lustrous, erotic behavior of the elephant. But let's go to us, right? For us, everything we have. Eyes also for us weakness. Ears also we have problem. Taste also we will not compromise, right? Bodily pleasure and attraction also will not compromise. Just imagine an animal with one addiction can be so dangerous, and what can be our case, right? We are stuck with so many addictions. We will not have a life to escape at all because we are so addicted to so many things. So this is another beautiful shloka. With this, we'll end the chapter 5.29. Krishna Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sukridim Sarva Bhutanam Yatva Mam Shantim Rachati. Hare Krishna. One of you will read.
And the sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So well you read. So they're talking about the sages know me, right? So basically we'll go one by one. Bhokta Ram, right? Somebody who, we have Mukta and Bhukta. Mukta means somebody who is elevated. And what is happening is Yagna and Tapasa. You know very clearly what do you mean by Yagnas and Tapasas, right? Sarvaloka Maheshwara. For everybody, I am the Maheshwara, right? Ishwara means the highest. And the Sukrita means friend. There are three types of friends, but here he is talking about well-wisher. Sarva Bhutana, for everybody, not just the human beings, but also to animals and everyone. Somebody who treats, everybody as such a well-wisher is nobody other than Krishna, right? So he says this is very clearly understood only by the sages. And therefore, they actually, how do they do that? Ultimately, because of the sacrifice, they know the purpose of sacrifice and austerities, supreme, and he knows that Supreme Lord is the head of everyone and he is a well-wisher of all. And therefore, the moment they understand this, they attain complete peace from the material mysteries. So now we are moving fifth chapter onwards. What are we talking about? Sanyasi or Karma Yoga? We are talking about Ekshreya. So which is better of the two? He says both are same, but then you know what? He says both are better, but then this becomes even more, it's easier because as you are working, we will do. And one more thing is in Sanyasi, there are some conditions, right? You have to be already pure, you have to give up on everything, you have to give up on family and then go. Whereas here, the process itself is purifying. There is no rule, right? There is no rule. The first day you all asked me, Mataji, is there any rule for chanting? I said, no, there is no rule for chanting. Can I chant in the morning before bath? Yes, you can chant. Can I chant in this place, any place? No, there is no rule. Whereas, but for sannyasi, he has to go, he has to stay away in a forest and in a secluded place, right? And karma yoga or karma sannyasa, which is better? He says karma yoga, working in Krishna consciousness is better. And neshkama karma yoga frees one from bondage. So even if you work, the fruits you surrender on Krishna. And liberation by focusing on to the Supreme Lord. So now with all this, what will happen? You people will still not be happy. You tell Krishna, how can Krishna judge Arjuna? And how can they judge me also? Maybe he thinks I can't do, but I am capable of doing. Maybe I want to try sannyasi, going to forest. Now tell me, how many of you all want to do that? How many of you want to go to a forest, leave everything, school, college, friends, family, and go and stay in a secluded place because you love Krishna? How many of you all want to do that? Is there anybody who wants to do?
No, Mataji.
No, acha. Thank you, Anoy Das. Hare Krishna. Thanks for replying. So there are many, as of now, you all are clear. But there will still be some people who will say, I would want to do that. So Krishna is not giving empty scope for that, nor is he leaving the topic unaddressed, right? So tomorrow he is going to address Ashtanga Yoga. How can you do this? It's a process. So I'm so glad that all of you all are so sensible that initially itself you all told no. But there are few devotees who told, yes, we would like to try that. And yoga, we know, we are already doing a little bit of yoga. So let's understand what yoga is from Krishna point of view and see how we can take it to the next level. Hey Krishna, do you all have any questions? I'll tell prayers. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpada rupyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna, all of you join. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the fifth chapter. We chant 6 times, 30 times. Decide among you all and raise your hand who's going to chant. Yesterday, I think one Prabhu wanted to chant. You can continue. You can raise your hand or type. Now, meanwhile, doubts. What are your doubts? Anyone has doubt? Nobody has doubt? No doubts?
Hello, ma'am.
Doubts.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, Hare Krishna, ma'am. Ma'am,
Hare Krishna.
just one little doubt. Yesterday I was not able to ask, ma'am. You in the shloka of about yada yada hi dharmasya, ma'am, you told that dharma is not related to that religion of Hindus, Muslim, or anything. So how would you define dharma in just one line? How Krishna has defined dharma?
Okay, so what we are talking about, the word religion, which we talk, is not Christian, Muslim, Buddhism, and all that. So what he is talking about dharma, I'm coming to that, is the duties which you are supposed to do and which is your prescribed duty. So what is prescribed? So I'll explain to you. It's the nature of something. Example, the nature of the chili is to be, spicy, right? So the nature of the salt is to be salty, and the bitter gourd is supposed to be bitter. So this is the nature, right? This is the very nature of the of each one, and the nature of the soul is to surrender to Krishna. This is the nature, right? Dharma also refers to as the nature of a particular thing. Also, one which he says is, how can you maintain that dharma even though you may not know your nature? Is follow whatever activities are given to you. So just because you're a Brahmana son, doesn't mean like a doctor's son does not become a doctor. Like a Brahmana son does not by default become a Brahmana, right? He has to work as a Brahmana. Classic example is Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, he was born to a Brahmin and behaved like a Kshatriya because he was fighting, which is fine. But then his behavior was worse than a Sudra because killing children when they were sleeping, right? If you see, it was not even in the war field. All Draupadi's, all kids, Pandavas, all kids were killed. And that not in the battlefield. After the battle got over, and that too in the night when they were sleeping, right? This is not something which is even accepted in both Brahmin and Kshatriya. So this is a very adharmic activity. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the very birth does not tell you. So the religion is not the caste system which we talk. Neither is varnashram. So the dharma, if you want a definition of dharma in one line, it is your nature. So then, as I said, the nature of ice cream is cold, right? The nature of salt is being salty, or chili is spicy. And your nature is, we are part and parcel of Krishna. And we always will find satisfaction only when we are related to Krishna directly or indirectly. So that is why you all are coming to the class. Whereas if you see, number of people who registered are always, the number which is registered and the number who turn up is always 10%. 90% don't make it. Why? Because they don't have that taste, right? And the 10% who come, if they are staying till about the 7th chapter, they normally stay till the end of the chapter. So this is what we've been saying, is because they are enjoying the transcendental bliss. And many of them only through that get happiness. But many of them don't get happiness because, like how even this they see it is material. So they come with an expectation, I should come, I should chant, I will do one round. And I didn't get peace of mind. I didn't get extra marks, and therefore I will not continue. But do you understand what I'm telling? So the nature of the soul is to be part of Krishna, and the soul needs that. So that is why. Right? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Do we have any other doubts? Do we have any other doubts?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, just in that shloka only, when he says yada yada hi dharmasya, Krishna says whenever there is a danger to the dharma, I'll come to the earth in the reincarnation of any form. So how is dharma being affected on earth or in this planet? Like,
very nice question, but we should not have this doubt in Kali Yuga, because if you see, every time, that is the only thing which is getting affected. Today you see anybody does anything and they say it's right. Example, terrorists. They kill innocent people and they tell, I will go to heaven. Yes or no?
Right, exactly.
Right? So there is dharma at all in the first place. Now, if you go to the Mahabharatam, what is dharma? Ideally, what should be your behavior to your brother's children? And that too when your brother is dead. You are supposed to take care. Simple. Forget about brother, sister, dead, life at all. When your cousins come to your house, do your parents treat them equal to you, or will they treat them like a guest and they'll wait for them to get lost?
Equal to us.
Yes. So they treat equally, right? So it is even now in Kali Yuga, and this is even one yuga earlier. It is common sense that your mother's sisters, brothers' kids, or your father's siblings' kids are supposed to be treated equally, especially when they are coming. Right? In this case, especially that the kids have lost a father. So Dhritarashtra should have been a father figure. And he knows very clearly he is not the king. He is only the power of attorney. He was an acting king, which he crowned himself after the death of Pandu. But ideally, he should have given it to Bhishma, because Bhishma was the original owner of the throne. Or he should have held the throne, which is fine, until such time the kids grow up, and he had to give it to Yudhishthira. because the king's son only can be a king. So ideally, which is why Shastras are important, because we will see whatever way. We will tell, okay, doesn't matter. So what? He was blind. Why can't Duryodhana become king and all that? And it is not that Duryodhana's qualities were not that of a king. Duryodhana had a lot of qualities, lot of rudeness with him, a lot of autocracy and all that. And they were not really particularly following all this. He was very authoritative. And if you see, Ashwatthama went and joined hands because he felt that the power was with Duryodhana. It is not that he was majorly in love with Duryodhana, but later it turned out to be, major. Karna was sincere with Duryodhana, but however, as a friend, what would you do? If your friend is going and, trying to do a couple of murders, will you tell him, hey, don't go? Or will you tell, okay, wait, I'll also do one little bit of murder and help you? What would you actually do?
I will definitely stop him that don't do murders.
Exactly. Right? So you should stop. That's the most dharmic way. But everybody appreciates Karna, telling that, oh wow, Karna has done a great job because he is stood by no, standing by him had given Duryodhana more strength to do the bad thing. Right? It's better to stand on the opposite side. Many times we hate parents, right? Because many times we feel that they are on the opposite side. But they want to do good for us. But we always love friends because these days, especially friends, always do what we like, even if it is wrong. That's not the right attitude. Genuine friends will be a well-wisher and will ensure that things are good for us. Right. So this is what a friend has to advise. So now coming back to whatever you told, Dharma was not kept. So the entire concept of the battlefield, all those who are Duryodhana, entire family is bad, and kill all those who support. Tell me, fundamentally, a girl is being stripped, and that is Draupadi. And nobody in the Sabha spoke anything. Isn't that adharmic activity? Is there anything worse than that which is required? Can anything be worse than that?
No, it's a very adharma activity, definitely.
Right? And that to imagine, even in Kali Yuga, a guy who misbehaves with a girl, will he do it in front of his father? Even a worse guy. Okay, will he do before the father, grandfather, with 100 people around? And imagine, so that's what I'm telling you. So even a worse guy will not behave in such a manner. And here Duryodhana is doing it and everybody is witnessing it. And that is why Krishna tells, was Dharma, Rama had come to tell this is the dharmic way which you should follow. And Krishna tells that there are adharmic work also which you should do to break the ice and take it to the next level. So that is what he says. So
but the much worse deed was done by, much worse deed was done by Yudhishthira, because how can anyone bet her wife on it? He has
very nice question. I was waiting. Thank you so much. So basically, there are few things which are written as dharma. That is what I'm talking about, the rules and regulation in the book. Example, for a Kshatriya, I'm just taking for the role. For a Brahmana, he should never lie. That's a rule of a Brahmana. But the same rule is not applicable for a Vaishya, because let's say that this dupatta cost him 300, and if he tells me I bought for 300, I'll tell give it to me for 350. Right? He will tell me that he's bought for 450 rupees, which is okay. But it is agreed. But a Brahmana should not say that. A Brahmana has to, tell truth. Unless it's extreme, like, he has to save a life, and therefore he doesn't mind taking the sinful reaction. Likewise, a Kshatriya should not say no to two. One is a war, another one is a challenge. So Yudhishthira is a Kshatriya. So if he had asked for a war, he can't say no. And if he has asked for a game, he's not supposed to say no. But most of the time, we think that Yudhishthira is very tempted because we don't have knowledge on Vedas. Forget we not having. The fact is, our parents also don't have knowledge on Vedas. Not only the parents, even grandparents don't have. So everything is half spoken. So here, what they say is Yudhishthira is someone who doesn't even know to play the game of dice, and he's a very exalted devotee. Yudhishthira is so perfect to everybody in the world. Would he be so bad even to his brothers? And if he was so bad, would even Krishna be with him? Right? So these are things, if you go analyze, you'll understand that our understanding of the concept is very weak overall. Because for us, Dharma is very bad keeping his wife. Agreed. But he had to do as a Kshatriya. However, others, for that even Krishna gets upset. He says you can follow the rule, but there is a time when you have to break the rule, which you have not done. But he's also upset with the fact that, what about others? Others should have stopped, which they didn't do. So all these things are the ones which makes Krishna kill. See how long it will take for Krishna to send Sudarshan Chakra to kill bad people. Karna. Why did he fool Karna and bring him and sit on the floor and made him regret? Because he said, if you can be adharmic, I can be a bigger adharmic. right? So if you try to fool me, I can fool you more number of times or more smarter than you to fool you, right? I'm more intelligent to fool you. So these are the things which Krishna wanted to prove, which is why there are many things which you see we don't understand because we have not really read Shastras. I used to feel exactly the way you felt, not only about Yudhishthira, there are a lot of questions like Ekalaiva. I don't know if any of you all know Ekalaiva. I think more popular in South.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
You know Ekalaiva. So I'm not going to tell the story. It's already past time, right? Because too many stories today. So Ekalaiva is someone from, I'll tell you my understanding and I'll come to your understanding later. Or maybe I'll hear your understanding. Tell me your understanding because I had a very similar understanding. What was the story which you have heard about Ekalaiva?
Eklavya was
Ma'am, you told
he was a
yesterday only
devotee
about
of.
Eklavya's story.
I know, but I'm not talking about the story. I'm telling you what was your opinion earlier. I'm not telling after yesterday. I'm talking about much before. I'm giving that as an example. Oh yeah, I told you the story. Fine, but still now you know that I've told you the story. Tell me what was your original opinion about Ekalaiva?
But earlier we used to think that whatever was done to him was wrong.
Right?
I
So what
mean, his yeah.
it's a paradigm shift, right? We've always one half of the story and based on that only. But now if I ask you about Ekalaiva and ask you about Dronacharya, you will, I'm not saying that you will say it's right, but you definitely will not say it's wrong, right? So why I'm saying all this is because always the truth is through word of mouth. We've heard this Chinese secret. If you all remember in school, we will whisper to someone, the person will whisper, and go as a circle, right? So this whisper will never end. But the final person will have a completely different word, totally different. Do you recall? Same thing will happen. So that is why we are telling that do not go by this whisper, which is a Chinese secret, but go by the actual logic of what is true. So he comes and tells that this whispering story, we should put an end. And definitely you don't have to worry about the whispering story and keep going on with this kind of stuff, because this is what happened with us. So people whispered, grandmother told, then it got modified. People started putting their mental speculation. How can Yudhishthira bet his wife? How can Ekalaiva's finger be taken? How bad Dronacharya is because he didn't like a Sudra becoming. We all are already feeling very Sudrik and we are all trying to support the cause. And how could he do? Right? But if you really understand the story, we will understand that we are a little more sensible because we will not go and hit an animal. Right? So that is why we feel that the truth has to be known well to pass a judgment or comment. But most of the time, first we pass comment and then only we know the truth. Thankfully, we at least have access to, all this, thanks to Namnishta Prabhu, because otherwise we would have never had chance to know Vedas, right? So therefore, we have got the knowledge, and to our next generation, at least we will present facts as facts. Unlike what we were not given facts as facts. We were given facts with mental concoction. We were not given a single fact with proof. Can you ever tell that my mom referred this session and this now? But today I'm proud that all of you are here because you can tell that this is a reference here. This is in Bhagavatam, this is in Bhagavad Gita references. Krishna said this with confidence. So that is what matters. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Hare Krishna. Anything?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I have a one question regarding yesterday's session. As we saw the video when the soul enter in the human body, right? So
Soul enters.
Souls take place like from one body to another body. So my question is when actually souls take place with the body, like the pregnancy duration is 9 months, right? And in that video, in the first month, some part of body grow, then second month, some part, then third month. So when actual the life of that soul take place, like in which
amazing question. Yeah. So basically, the concept is like this: your past school. No, I'm not teaching biology to a small school kid. I hope you finished your.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So, so what is happening is, so typically the concept is like there are these grains. Okay, I'll start with the rains, right? So when they do harvest and all that, pre-harvest, what happens? Rains come, right? Rains come. How do the rain come? Rains come prior to that, which is by doing various yagnas. We saw that, right? Rain is given by demigod. The demigod sanctioned rains based on the satisfaction they have with us. So when we are doing all this yagna, like I asked you what is the yagna for the current generation. I'm still waiting for you people to chat in the chat box. So we'll do all yagnas, and based on us, they become very happy and they shower. So during the rain, what happens and how it happens is the soul comes from the rain and falls in the soil, and the grains grow from there. And when the man eats the grain, the soul travels with it. And so there is only one soul. Thank you so much, Mohandas Prabhu. Chanting. Currently, it's Sankirtan Yagna. So during the relationship with the girl, the particular life, the soul enters at that stage. So it is not the 9 month. The soul very much enters on the very time. The only thing is like you get to know that the person is pregnant maybe after 2 months, 3 months, or whatever, 1 month, doesn't matter. But the entry of the soul is at that moment, which is why those days they have what's called the Garbha Daksha Sampradayam. What they do is Garbha means for the child, like how you have for the wedding, right? Wedding also they say marriage ceremony, because they have yagnas. We don't just go and get registered. There used to be yagnas, you go around, is because everything is considered sacred. And this one, the Garbha Sampradayam, why they do is because they pray and for a good soul to enter, because there is a possibility any soul can enter. So the time and everything they pray, and they do so much of japa because it should not be influenced by any wrong soul, because anybody can enter. Right? Of course, your karma has an impact, but you also pray that, okay, fine, like someone asked, right? What if I've done a sin? Yes, what if we've done sins? At least let's be sure that we follow all these sampradayas so that the soul which enters, we get some concession. We have done 100 karma, at least we get 25% discount and take only bad of 75 and go ahead and dedicated souls will come. By doing all this, what happens is the souls which enter also come as a purified soul, because you're already following devotional service. So the one who comes also will be a thing. Suppose just imagine on that day you are going, okay, and you're taking a knife and you're killing 4 people and you're already asuric and you're planning a bomb blast and you're thinking you'll kill 4 people. I'm just telling you, or negatively you keep thinking how you can put that person down. All this means your negative energy is working so high, which means you'll attract negativity, even scientifically. So naturally, a bad soul only a person will attract. So that's why you do your actions actually decide on your future. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. With continue with that topic only. We feel the baby started kicking in the month of 5th or 6th, right?
In the month of
5th or 6th month, I guess.
Okay.
The baby started kicking the female body or the mother. Okay. So you said ki when from the day 1 only the soul enters, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So is it a kind of the baby the life in baby started from the day 1 along with soul, or
yes.
or
From day 1 only, if there is no soul, how will the body grow? See, if the person is dead, okay, every organ is perfect. The soul has left. That is only dead, right? Is my understanding correct? Are we in sync?
Yes.
How do you define dead? How do you define passing away? Does the person run away? The body is there, organs are working. It is just the soul has left the body. Are we clear with this? So same way,
Yes.
the soul enters the body. That is when the child, that is how the child itself develops. Otherwise, it will be a lot of sperms coming in contact with the ovum and nothing happens, right? So only when there is a soul, it develops as a child and it starts growing. Just like 10 years back, you were 7, whatever was your age, you wait for it to grow and you become a boy now, right? And you will become a man after 10 years and you will become an uncle after a few years. And then you become a grandfather after a few years. When I'm telling grandfather, not relationship, age-wise. So there is a growth, but the soul is there, right? That's what is happening. But if the soul has left a body 10 years back for some child, the child will not be growing after 7 years. Same way, how does a fetus grow? Fetus is what I'm thinking you're talking as baby. The fetus will grow only when the soul is inside. So the presence of the soul is there. Kicking is a different act. Just because if somebody is in coma, can you tell the person is dead and bury the person? Can you bury?
No.
Right? The person is not.
Yeah.
But you need proof, right? So that's what matters. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
yeah. So basically, the soul is alive from the day 1. And yes, one more thing. We have heard the black soul is there, like a kind of ghost or bhoot pret, what we
Ghost
call.
is different. Don't get
Yeah.
lost here. Ghost is different. Ghost is not black soul. Ghost is a soul like us without a body. So basically, after we are dead, we are all ghosts. So we'll ghost later. But
No, but what in our books we have read is the soul which has not completed their time span of time, that become that roam actually here and there, and that hurt people, or that also help people, not always hurt. So what kind of that soul, and the what kind of that soul which actually enters in a child, like
so basically, I understand your question, but you have to wait for the 8th chapter because we're going to discuss this. But the soul which enters the baby is different from ghost. So don't club this, because ghost is, let's say somebody's life is 60 years and they kill themselves at 20, 40 years, they don't have a body, but they have to live. So that 40 years they'll be roaming around you. They may be ghost right now also. So that is ghost. But the soul entering the body is some soul which is either a human who's died or an animal which is died and needs to take rebirth in the form to come and do all this chanting and go to Krishna. That's the purpose of the soul. So the baby in the womb is not a ghost. The soul which enters is the soul which is going to come into life, into the material world. That is the baby. Ghost is something which is halfway through. It's not done. Halfway through, it wants to. It's like anyone who commits suicide, right? Who's not lived their life. Ideally, the life for the person should be more, but they've ended their life. In that case, the balanced life, they'll be running as a soul. Ghost, not soul. So ghost is a definition of a soul without a body. And how they haunt and all that, I will tell you in the 8th chapter. You have to wait. Don't get scared. Please come tomorrow. So it's not a ghost buster. It is only Bhagavad Gita. So
yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So any other questions?
Mataji, yesterday you
Do the chanting today. Yes, Saloni, 1 second. Shivam, will you do the chanting today?
Yes. I'm ready, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shivam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare
Yes, Saloni.
Yes, Mataji, yesterday you asked us to remind that good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good ones.
Sorry? Oh, so why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen? Too many stories. Okay, I'll still tell you. Wait, I'll just mute everyone. Hare Krishna, it's a very beautiful story. So wait. Hare Krishna. So a very typical story is why good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. And I'm going to tell you a story. Right. So there was in a village a person by name Ram. He was a very, very good guy, and everything about him was good. He did every activity perfectly. Very pious, extremely good, so sweet to everyone. And you can define good in any definition of our understanding, and he was excellent. Okay, and his name was Ram. There was also another guy who was extremely bad, right? And his name was Vicky. So Vicky was a very bad guy and he did everything bad. Not one thing was good about him. He would, if the girls go, he will go pull them. He will go steal. He will rob. Name any bad quality he will have. So the villagers were very pissed off. And one day there was floods which were announced in the village, which was expected. So they all wanted to shift to another place. And therefore they all started the journey and they all went via forest. Now in that particular forest on their journey, what happened is there was a small thorn, and when they were all walking, that particular thorn went and pricked Ram, the good guy, right? And then he managed to, it was painful, it was bleeding. Then he somehow managed, because flood's important, he went in that. Now this is happening on one side. On the other side, as we had this Vicky, who was a wicked guy, who was going, and for him, what happened is one small, he stepped on a thread and he toppled and fell, and he saw a gold coin. So somewhere he had a feeling that, there is a gold coin in the midst of a forest. It means that either somebody has lost it or something, because the floods has really brought up. So he started hunting in that area, searching for he was doing a treasure hunt. Now what happened is this Ram, that nail which pricked him became infectious. And for 1 month, he could not move. It was like bleeding. He was struggling and all that. He had a lot of pain. And that was the situation for Ram. And it took him almost over a month to heal. And for Vikram, what happened is when he, not Vikram, Vicky, when he was trying to meddle and do everything, he found a pot of gold coins and he became very happy. And you know how a typical guy will be, hey, I got gold, I got gold, I got gold. He was like jumping, running around. And you know, typically how anybody will be there. You all can take a guess. I don't have to tell somebody with that kind of an attitude. He was like showing off, right? He was bragging over himself. And, you know, the entire village had the same doubt which you all had. Why good things happen to bad people? Okay, bad things happen to good people. That is also a big concern for us. How bad fellow that fellow is, how can good thing happen? Right? Most of the time, that's a bigger concern for us. But on the other side, this fellow is so good, Ramu, and he's like not able to move out of the house. He needs help for walking. That's so pathetic. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So after all this, the village was going on, and these were one of those days when Narada used to come and talk. So Narada came, and you know, in the form of an astrologer, and he was trying to, you know, tell all this. And they asked, you know, you're such a great devotee. Why don't you tell, you know, he's such a good guy? And what happened? So he says, let me go back to the previous birth. And he said that in the previous birth, the good guy whom you claim is good was such a horrible guy. He has gone and lobbed, he has behaved so badly. In fact, he is actually, for the bad activities which he has done, he should have lost his leg. Okay, but lucky he was so pious and he was so good that since he was doing all spiritual and Krishna conscious activity, he got rectified and all his papa karma got removed. But the little bit had to come, right? So instead of losing his leg and becoming handicapped, the huge one has become like a small, you know, from a mountain to a mole, and that small mole only is experiencing. They said, okay, forget about him. What about the other joker who's got a treasure and you can see how bossy he is? He said, oh, you don't know him? He was such a great guy. He was doing a lot of charitable cause. Though he never had spirituality around him, he did a lot of charity. Because of this, it is written that in his next birth, he would be a king. But because he actually did so many bad activity, instead of a kingdom, he just got a pot. So it is not what we compare is the good and the bad guy. What we don't compare is the good guy with his own self and the bad guy with his own self. The bad guy must have got a kingdom, but it landed with a small pot of gold. And the good guy should have lost his leg because of his karma, but he landed with a complete, instead of losing his leg, he lost just 1 month, and his leg pain he has to take. So this is the thing. So just to answer why good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people is our definition of good and bad is not a lie. It's correct only, but it's ashashvatam. It's temporary. Why temporary? Because your range of seeing good and bad and my range is, our vision is bad. But even assuming that we know the person only from the time the person is born until now, ever since maybe the maximum we'll know a person is equal to our age. That's the maximum we will know, right? It's very unlikely that you will know the person before our life. Maybe you will take judgments from someone senior, but we will know the person only to the extent we have lived. But we have not known him in this previous birth. But this is a classic example. Whereas previous birth, we have to account, right? What good he did, what bad, that is what happens. And that is why bad things happen to good people, we feel, because we see the good thing about the person in the current life. And good things happen to bad people is what we see is the bad things which happen to the guy good when we are seeing now. But we are not accounting the previous janma. We can go wrong in accounting. But Krishna is never wrong. He's so right and he's so accurate in maintaining, and he tries his best to give the best. So that's it. With this I'll end, and I hope you got the answer. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I don't know if I convinced you, but this is the answer I have from Shastra. Are you there?
This was pretty convincing.
Actually. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Even I was not convinced until I heard the service. So I take up and tell you only things which convince me. So anything which is in Shastra which is not convincing me, I will not highlight it. I will tell you because it is there. But so far, anything in Shastras, if it's not convincing me, I go and dig more. Because it means that I have not understood the true color, like Ekaleva. Right? I was not convinced. So I went and dug and I got this complete story, and that's why I'm present. So I hope I can take. And one more thing which I want to tell is this chapter 18 days should be 0 plus 18, which we are supposed to finish in 19 days, but we are planning to extend it by 4 more days. Because Akshaya Tidi is a good day and we don't want to leave you low and dry. Even though you want to go to level 2, we don't know how many days it will take. It takes at least a week from the moment from 18 days. So is it okay with all of you if we extend the class by 4 days, which means we can go at a slightly slower pace. We can see more of bridge. We can do little more detail. Is that okay with all of you?
Yes, Mataji. We all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So nice. Shivam, now you can start chanting since there are no more things. Just tell Hare Krishna and you can stop recording. And Hare Krishna, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you can stop recording. Thank you so much.